In this episode, we cover protecting your portfolio and putting in the work. Stop! This is Aidan Rees-Heron, and you're watching Property Geek TV episode 27, 31, 33. Okay, is reverse engineer what you want to achieve. So where do you want to get to? What do you want to achieve? Win-win on both sides, right? And that's what business should be. I'm here to provide value to you, so this is very, very serious, okay? Question of the day. Maybe? Nah. This is Aidan Rees-Heron, and you're watching Property Geek TV episode 36. That's not how that was meant to go. So episode 36, 35 has been recorded, but I don't know what's happened. Between me and Leo, we've managed to corrupt the files, so we're working on it, but that will probably be posted retrospectively. And as you can tell, it is now summer, so I'm in my summer shirt. Blake, what do you think of my summer shirt? He really likes it. Things are pretty busy, right? Feel everything's quite intense at the minute. We're coming to a crucial point on several projects. I feel a little bit under pressure because Blake and Josh are both in the office staring at me as we do this recording, which it's been a while since you've both been here at the same time. All three of us have been here. It's nice. I like it.
You mean since last week?
All three of us have been here and done an episode. It's been a while. I like it. Welcome back. Do you want to pick a question, Blake, since you've not been here for ages? You need to get your hands in there. You can read it. Do you want to read it?
You crack on.
There are so many strategies. What do I do? This ties into a question that I answered on a previous episode about reverse engineering. The first thing I would do, if I was in your position now, is choose what do you want to achieve in 5 or 10 years. Okay, where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years or 20 years, and then work backwards. Okay, and whichever strategy is going to get you to that place the most effectively, choose that strategy. You might find, and this is what we've found, is that the strategy that gets you to where you want to be in 10 years is not the strategy that's going to generate you £500 or £1,000 next month. It's the strategy that's going to generate you 10 or 20 grand in a few months' time. So, whereby I mean like doing larger deals might be what you want to do, because that is playing in the big picture about where you want to get to. So, really, same answer as last time, right? Is just pick where you want to get to, choose where do you want to be, and then work backwards and play every step based on the long-term game, not the short-term game. Would you agree?
I agree.
Blake, what do you reckon? Sweet, yeah, he agrees. Just play the long game, don't play the short game. The short game is distracting and busy, and it will fry your head, and then you'll never get around to playing the long game. And then you'll wind up in 30 years' time sitting down going, crap, what the hell happened? Always play the long game, always. We're going to have to go digital soon, I think. I feel bad for all this paper that we're using.
How can I protect my portfolio?
Do you want to say it into the mic?
Do I need to come around now? Now I've got a directional mic. How can I protect my portfolio?
How can you protect your portfolio? What do you reckon they mean? From being not rebated? Taxes. Do you mean like, if you mean how can you protect your portfolio from being stolen from you by the banks, then the number one way to do that is to not gear too heavily. So what do I mean by gearing for people that don't watch too often or are new to property? So when you raise finance against a property, whether it is commercial or standard buy-to-let mortgage, okay, when you raise that mortgage, that is gearing, and then the value that you raise determines your gearing. So say you've got a 100 grand property and you can raise at maximum, 75% on the market at the moment. Okay, you can raise 75%, then your portfolio, if you've only got one house, okay, is 75%. maybe we can get like numbers up here and it'll make it easier, right? 100 grand house, you raise 75 grand, that means you're geared at 75%. If you have a 100 grand house and you only raise 50%, so 50 grand, then you're geared at 50%. So one of the biggest things that you can do to protect your portfolio long term is to not gear too heavily. Prior to the last recession, anyone that remembers that, there were products on the market for buy-to-lets where you could raise 110% of the property value, simply because everyone thought the market was going to continue rising on forever, which was ludicrous because it never does. It always crashes. But they just thought, oh yeah, it'll carry on rising forever, and they were lending 110%. At which point, would you say that's negatively geared? Like, you're geared at more than it's worth. So not only will they come after your real estate if you don't have it in the right corporate structures, they'll also come after your other assets to pay off the debt that you owe if the market turns the wrong way, which it will, and then you'll be left with like the shirt on your back and the shoes on your feet, and that's it. That's where it can get to. If you mean how can you protect your portfolio prior to purchase, then the serious thing to do there is due diligence. Do you remember what was the definition for due diligence? The work that you do at the start to make sure you don't get bitten in the arse at the end. Yeah, so put some work in at the start. It's called stress testing your portfolio. Okay, run the figures as if interest were 8%, 9%, even though it isn't at the moment, because it could happen. And as long as your portfolio is still cash positive or neutral after all of that, and a raise in bills and fees and management, as long as it's all positive after all of that, then you are in probably a good place. The only thing is, if you're starting out and you feel a little bit if you're a bit of a risk taker and you want to grow quickly, you can gear heavily at the start, but always bear in mind you have to lower that gearing value later on. Okay, so you can raise lots and lots of finance to buy more and more properties, but then you need to pay a lot of that off so that you can lower your gearing level so that you're protected in case the market, which it will, in case the market swings the other way and you are left with a load of debt that you can't afford to pay back on your assets. So just be sensible and check the figures. Don't massage the figures, okay, to work for what you want them to. They tend not to lie. Cool, that was good. Should we do another question?
Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. I did 3 on yesterday's show, but obviously you won't see yesterday's show because we broke the files. It makes me sad. I'm sad that we broke the files. Leo, we've got to figure out what the hell we did wrong with those files. I also, note to self, need to figure out why this camera keeps turning off after a certain amount of time. It will do it in a second. I think it's 10 minutes and it just goes, camera stopped.
Oh.
What's the question?
Okay, so I like the idea of property, but I don't have any money.
Sweet, neither did we. And neither did lots of people. All you need to do is, we spoke about this right last time, joint ventures aren't always money orientated, but a lot of the time they are. If you've got the knowledge, the time and the tenacity, I like that word, the tenacity to put in the effort to build a property business, then you just need to find someone with money and who doesn't have the inclination or the time to make a property business. And voila, you've got a great partnership, right? So what I would say is get educated. There are definitely ways to do property without your own money, called joint ventures. You can also raise bridging finance to do commercial developments or smaller developments, as long as all the figures stack up. So the most important thing is, if you don't have money, you need to bring something else to the table, right? And that tends to be like intellectual property. So understanding how the entire process fits together. How do you take all of these cogs, right, and you fit them together to make something that like just churns out money? Okay, if you know how to do that, then it won't be long for you to find someone with a little bit of cash that's willing to bet on you so that, you can build a business. The other thing I would say is, if you don't have money, okay, be willing to give up some of the profits. Okay, if you don't have money and you put none of your own cash in and you're giving up 50 or 60% of the returns, then you're technically getting an infinite return on your own input because you didn't put any cash in. You could calculate it based on how much your time is worth, but if you have no money, then your time's worth nothing. Either way, based literally on how much you're putting into a deal. Okay, if you put no money in and another party puts some money in and they take a big chunk of the profits, you're getting an infinite return, which is like pretty cool. And then you just scale that up. You just find more people with money, and then you do more deals with the intellectual property that you have and they don't have, and then you're able to churn out more and more capital until you can start putting your own cash in if you want to build that business, and then hire people and grow and leverage and scale. That's pretty much it. So not having any money is not an excuse to not get into any sort of business. As long as you have the intellectual property, the knowledge, and the desire to put in the work, then finding money is just another resource that you need to acquire, and there's ways to do that. Cool. So, question of the day: if you don't have money, what do you bring to the table?